Passion Project 2.0. You've had time in your class to look at 6 or 7 different projects that have been completed in Canada and around the world. And now we're going to take the time to start at the beginning and see what it takes to make one of those projects or movements happen. So we've asked you to look at what are you passionate about, what are your talents, what are you interested in, what are you not okay with. And these ones can be very personal to you. You're going to start building into more serious things, maybe like bullying, pollution, and maybe it's something that's just relative to you and nobody else, and that's okay. So leaving an empty container in the cupboard, that's one of the things I'm not okay with in my household. Is it a global, worldwide change? Nope, but it can fit in that list. How can you make an impact? Whether it's learning about something and informing, maybe you have a talent in the arts and you can make a song or dance or movie, just ways that you can start to share your information. What will you solve? Jot note list, it might be one thing, it might be 7 things of ways that maybe for pollution, it's looking at recycling in your own home. Maybe it's looking at our water consumption in our own home. Talk to someone in your house. Make a list of things that you know about from your school, community, province, country, or global. So things you're hearing in the news, things you're hearing in your classroom, things that you know are happening, that you're aware of, that are issues in our economy or environment. Narrow it down to 3 things that you're interested in. Mine are Indigenous studies, food sourcing, and water. I've gone through each of them and I've started a list. I could probably go on a lot longer with some of these, but at least I have a starting point of what questions do I have about our Indigenous peoples, what questions do I have about food sourcing, and what questions do I have about water. This inquiry for food sourcing I kind of did the other day. I have an espresso machine and I really wanted to start knowing how responsible are they in our economy? Do they know where their beans come from? How involved are they in the labor rights of others? What do they do recycling? The impact of disposable pods in the economy. So for me, that's an ongoing inquiry about the things I purchase and starting to learn the backgrounds about them. So for going forward, once you're at this point and you have your list, you need to come to pick one of your topics. I think I'm going to take a little combination of my Indigenous peoples and water and focus in on why or why is the government taking so long? Why do so many of our communities in Canada don't have clean water? What are we doing about it? Whose responsibility is it? That is where my focus. So once you've decided on a focus, you're going to go back to the classroom and you're going to fill in a form. You're going to choose your class. You're going to fill in your name. And you're going to fill in what you're hoping your passion project to be. So we want you to start thinking about, as you present your information, you're going to present to an audience and saying, why should you being that audience, why should you care about fish? Why should you care about Indigenous peoples? Why should you care about the water availability in Ontario? So make a statement, and you can resubmit this later after a couple brainstorming sessions and a couple research sessions, and you realize you're going to focus it in. I'm going to give you some feedback of how to mainstream or maybe open up your project. So this gives us a starting point of how to give your feedback. So mine is going to be why we should care about water availability to all Canadians. And I might change the topic or the title later and say why we should care about clean water on the reserves. Should all Canadians have access to clean water? Something like that. But that gives my teacher an idea of what and where I want my topic to focus in on. And I'm going to submit it.